Good morning. In the previous class, we have discussed about basic of thermal radiations and how heat transfer occur due to thermal radiations. And in this, we also discuss about different law used for this type of heat transfer. S- Like we have discussed about Stephen Boltzmann law, Planck's law, Kirchhoff's law, and wind displacement law. So these law are used to calculate, for example, Stephen Boltzmann law is used to calculate total emissive power at all wavelength, but on the other hand, Planck's law is used to calculate total emissive power at a particular wavelength. Similarly, the wind displacement law is used to calculate the peak of thermal peak or intensity of thermal radiation. On the other hand, Kirchhoff's law, as per Kirchhoff's law, the emissivity and absorptivity are equal at thermal equilibrium. Now, this heat transfer due to thermal radiation is also affected by the shape factor or the orientation of different objects. So, in this class, we will discuss how the orientation and view factor affect overall heat transfer rate due to thermal radiations. So, before starting that, let's again summarize the important terms which we have discussed in our previous class. First is the emissivity. This emissivity is the ratio of emissive power of a surface compared to maximum emissive power. So this is denoted by this epsilon, and it is ratio of W upon W black body. W indicates the total emissive power of a real body divided by total emissive power of a black body. At thermal equilibrium, this emissivity and absorptivity are equal. This we also have discussed in Kirchhoff's law. So at thermal equilibrium, this emissivity and absorptivity are equal. Although they strictly apply at thermal equilibrium, and we normally assume that it apply at all temperature. So this emissive power can be calculated with the help of Stephen Boltzmann law, and the total emissive power at all wavelength will be equal to sigma into T raised to power 4. Here T is absolute temperature in Kelvin, and this epsilon is called Stephen Boltzmann constant, and its value is 5.676 into 10 to the power minus 8 watt per meter square per Kelvin power 4. So this equation is valid for a black body, but if we have a real surface, then we also have to multiply this equation by its emissivity. So for an object that is not a black body, that is not a perfect radiator, so in that case we can write or we can rewrite this equation in this form. So for real body, we have to multiply this equation by its emissivity. Here epsilon is emissivity of that surface, and this T is absolute temperature in Kelvin. Now, if we want to calculate net heat uh, transfer. So if heat transfer occur between two objects, then this is not like one side heat transfer, but it's the net heat transfer, because both the body emit thermal radiations, and the net amount of heat transfer will takes place will be equal to the difference between the total radiation emitted by each objects. So for example, to calculate the heat transfer rate by radiation, we must include term for energy output and energy received from the surrounding. So for example, if we have one object, uh, in that energy output will be epsilon sigma T raised to power 4. Similarly, the energy input, it means the energy is transferred between two objects, so some amount of energy gained by the object due to thermal radiation emitted by other object. Similarly, some amount of energy lost by the object due to thermal radiations emission. So if this indicate net energy output, and this indicate net energy input due to thermal radiation. So at thermal equilibrium, we can say the absorptivity and emissivity are equal. Here we are saying energy output. It means the object is emitting energy, so in that case we use this epsilon. Epsilon is energy emissivity of that object. But in case of energy input, the energy is absorbed by the system, so in that equation we use this epsilon. This is absorptivity of that object. But as per Kirchhoff's law, at thermal equilibrium the absorptivity and emissivity are equal. So if we use this equation in above equation, and then if we calculate total amount of energy transfer, then that will be equal to the amount of energy, uh, the difference between amount of energy gained by the system and lost by the system. So this Q, the net energy, will be equal to the difference of these two equations. Q equal to epsilon sigma A Ts raised to power 4 minus T infinite raised to power 4. This is expression of an object totally enclosed by surrounding at T infinite. So whatever energy uh, emit by this object will be gained by this another object. It means one object is completely enclosed by another object, so there is no energy lost by the object. There is no energy lost, and whatever energy emitted by one object is received by another object. But the equation for Q give above is one of the most important and commonly used result. However, it does not cover all situations. The assumption is that this is the expression for an object totally enclosed by surrounding at infinite. So the situation is that this is not always the situation when all the energy exchange between two objects only. So now we have introduced with this view factor when one object is not completely enclosed by another objects. So what happens, some of the energy will lose or will strike to, means not all the energy emitted by one object will fall on second object. So the radiation heat exchange between surface depend on orientation of the surface relative to each other, and dependence on orientation is accounted by the view factor. So as you can see, if this is point source, so this uh, as you can see, these surface they have inclined in different orientation. So as the orientation change, the amount of energy received by this object will also change. As you can see, if the orientation is in this shape, then uh, it receive large amount of radiation as compared to this orientation. In this, very less amount of energy is received by the surface. So the orientation is important, and this orientation is encountered with the help of view factor, or we also call them shape factor or orientation factor. So the view factor is purely geometric quantity and is independent of surface property and temperature. Whatever temperature, surface property, they don't depend on that factor, and it's only depend upon the orientation of object. And it is also called shape factor, configuration factor, and angle factor. So while driving equation for shape factor, we made several assumptions to make our this derivation simple. So first assumption is that surface are diffuse emitter and diffuse reflector. It means the energy emitted by object are uniformly distributed in all direction. So this will greatly simplify our derivation, because if the energy are not diffused, then the orientation as well as means the you can understand if they are not uniformly distributed, then this will also be a variable and it will complicate our derivation. So this is our first assumptions, to assume that the surface is perfect diffuser. It means they radiate energy in all direction uniformly. We also made another assumptions, that is radiation that strike a surface after being reflected by other object is not considered in evaluation of view factor. So for example, if you have these two objects, so we consider only those radiation which directly strike to between these two objects. For example, if you have third object and here radiation strike to this third object, and after reflection it go to this second object, so these type of radiations will not be considered. We only consider only those radiations which directly strike to second object. The view factor from a surface I to a surface j is denoted by this Fij. Ij means the energy is radiating from surface I and striking to surface j. Or we simply write that Fij. This Fij means the energy, the fraction of radiation leaving surface I that strike surface j directly. Directly means directly from here to here. Now let us assume you have two surfaces having area A1 and A2. Between that these two surfaces, there is exchange of radiative energy. So for calculating view factor, first of all assume a control volume having area dA1 and dA2, and these surfaces are maintained at temperature T1 and T2. The elementary area are at a distance r apart, so this distance is r, and normal to these area make angle theta 1 and theta 2 with the line joining them, this one theta 1 and theta 2. Now each elemental area subtend a solid angle at the center of the other. This one is solid angle. So this d omega 1 be subtended at dA1 by dA2, and d omega 2 subtended at dA2 by dA1. So this solid area will be d omega 1 will be this one, and this d omega 2 will be this one, that is dA2 cos theta 2 upon r square. Similarly, d omega 2 will be equal to d a1 cos theta 1 upon r square. So in this way we can calculate this solid angle. The rate at which radiation leave dA1 in the direction of theta 1 will be IB1 dA1 into cos theta 1. Here IB is black body intensity, and this dA cos theta 1 is projection of dA1 on the line between the center. So the rate at which radiation leave dA1 in the direction of theta 1 will be equal to the intensity of the black body, intensity of radiation of black body multiplied by projection of dA1 on the line between the center. Now the rate of radiation energy leaving dA1 and strike on dA2. So this is the uh, this is the rate at which radiation leave dA1 in direction of theta 1, and this one is solid angle. So if we multiply it by solid angle, then it will give the rate of radiation energy leaving dA1 and strike on dA2. So this is total amount of energy leaving in direction of theta 1, and but we are only interested in this solid angle d theta 1 because only that energy will strike on area dA1. So if we multiply this equation by its solid angle, then it will give you the rate of radiation energy leaving dA1 and striking on dA2. So just multiply by d omega 1. Again this d omega 1 is this one, so replace this d omega 1 from this equation to this equation, and finally you will get this equation. Now this is absorbed by element area dA2, because this the rate of radiation energy dA1 and strike on dA2. So this energy will strike on dA2, so this energy will absorbed by dA2, because this is a black body, so whatever energy strike on that surface will be absorbed by it. So the energy is absorbed by element area dA2 since both surfaces are black. Now this is amount of energy which strike on area dA2, because it means only that small control volumes. But if you want to calculate total amount of energy strike on total surface, that is on A2 is total surface area of the object, and dA2 is the surface area of that control volume only. So if we want to calculate the rate of radiation energy emitting by A1 that fall on A2, then we have to integrate that equation uh, for entire area. This one is only for control volume, control area, and if we integrate this for entire area, we can calculate total amount of radiating energy emitting by A1 that fall on A2. So if we so in that we integrate above equations to calculate total radiant energy. Now the total emissive power of a diffuse surface is equal to pi time its intensity of radiation. So this emissive power I b will be equal to, this intensity will be equal to EB1 upon pi. So if we replace this IB with the help of this equation, then this equation can be written in this form. Now this EB1 is sigma T1 raised to power 4, and this can be calculated with the help of Stefan Boltzmann law. So with the help of that, if you replace this EB1, finally you get this equation. Now the rate of total energy radiated by A1. So this one is the amount of energy that is radiated by A1 that strike on A2. But if we want to calculate the total amount of energy radiated by A1, then this will be calculated with the help of Stefan Boltzmann law. So the rate of total energy radiated by A1 will be equal to Q equal to area sigma T raised to power, and with the Stefan Boltzmann law simply. So one second. So this is total amount of energy radiated by element A1, and this one is amount of energy, uh, only fraction of energy which is emitted by A1 and strike on A2. This is total amount of energy radiated, and this is amount of energy radiated which strike on A2. So if we divide this equation by this equation, then we can calculate the fraction of energy which is striking on surface A2. So that fraction is known as its view factor or shape factor. Hence the fraction of rate of energy leaving area A1 and impinging on area A2 is given by, so we are dividing these two equations, and this division is called shape factor. So this entire terms is called surface factor. This is called configuration factor or surface factor or view factor between the two radiating surface, and is function of geometry only. Thus, the shape factor may be defined as the fraction of radiative energy that is diffused from one surface element and strike the other surface directly with no intervening reflection. So, if we replace this, uh, so this is total energy, but if we include the shape factor, then we have to multiply this equation by its shape factor. So this is the final equation. It means the q12 means the amount of energy that transfer from surface 1 to surface 2, that will be equal to its shape factor multiplied by total energy emitted by surface 1. So this is our final equation. Similarly, the rate of radiation energy by A2 that fall on A1. In the previous we have calculated amount of energy that radiate from A1 and that fall on A2. Now we are taking reverse, the amount of energy radiated from A2 that fall on A1. So similar to previous equation, we can write for Q21, that is this one. And similarly this Q2 means the rate of total energy radiated by A2 is given by this one. And if we want to calculate shape factor, then we have to divide these two equations, and this division is called its shape factor. This is fraction of the rate of energy leaving area A2 and impinging on area A1, and this is called shape factor. So we can write finally this forms. So if we compare this Q21 by Q12 that we have derived over here, this one Q12. So if we compare Q12 by Q21, then we can say this A1F12 will be equal to A2F21. So this is very important correlations, and you must memorize these equations. A1F12 will be equal to A2F21. These are some of the example of view factors. For example, if we have plane surface, so whatever energy emitted by that surface will not strike that surface. So F11 will be equal to 0, means F11 means energy which emit from surface 1 and strike on surface 1. So no energy strike on surface 1. So in that case, this view factor will be equal to this view factor or shape factor will be equal to 0. Similarly, if we have convex surface, in that case also no energy strike back to that surface only. So again this F22 will be equal to 0. But on the other hand, if we have concave surface, then some amount of energy strike to that surface only. So in that case F33 will not be equal to 0, because some amount of energy is striking on that surface. So in that case F33 will not be equal to 0. So the view factor from a surface to itself is 0 for plane or convex surface and non-zero for concave surface. Similarly, if we have some enclosed object, so here this is inner sphere and this two is outer sphere. So whatever energy emitted by surface 1 will strike on surface 2. So in that case, this F12 means amount of energy radiate from 1 strike on 2 will be equal to 1, because all the energy is absorbed by object 2. So in a geometry that consists of two concentric sphere, the view factor F12 will be equal to 0, since the entire radiation leaving the surface of the small sphere will be intercepted by the larger sphere. These are some example of view factor expression for some common geometry of finite size. Like if we have aligned parallel rectangles, so in that way the shape factor is given over here. If we have coaxial parallel dishes and perpendicular rectangular with a common edge, so in that they have calculated these shape factors. Now regarding shape factor, we also have certain rules. So these four are important rule, that is reciprocity rule, summation rule, superposition rule, and symmetry rule. We will discuss all these rules one by one. So first one is reciprocity rule. So the view factor Fij and Fji are not equal to each other unless the area of two surface are, that is this Fji is equal to Fij only when area Ai equal to Aj. But if these area are not equal, then this safe factor will also be not equal, Fji not equal to Fij. Therefore we can write this that we also derived in our previous slide, Ai Fij equal to Aj Fji. This relation is referred to as reciprocity relation or reciprocity rule. It enables us to determine the counterpart of view factor, sometimes more difficult, from a knowledge of view factor itself and the area of two surfaces. The second rule is summation rule. The sum of view factor from surface I of an enclosure to all surfaces of the enclosure, including to itself, must equal to 0. So the summation of all view factor will be equal to 0, where n is number of surfaces of the enclosure. For example, applying the summation rule to surface 1 of a 3 surface enclosure yield equal to 1. So if we have 3 surfaces, so energy is striking from surface 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and this will be equal to 1. Summation of all view factor equal to 1. The third is superposition rule. So the view factor from a surface I to surface J is equal to sum of view factor from surface I to part of surface J, that is F1 to 3. Means energy emitted by surface 1 which is striking on surfaces 2 and 3 will be equal to the view factor of individual surface 2 and 3, that is F12 plus F13. So if this one energy is emitted by surface 1 to surface 2 and 3, so this will be equal to this F12 plus 13. Note that the reverse of this is not true. That is, the view factor from a surface J to a surface I is not equal to sum of view factor from the parts of surface J to surface I. And the last one is symmetry rule. Two or more surfaces that possess symmetry about a third surface will have identical view factor from the surface. So if this is center point and these 2 and 3 are identical surface, then F1 F12 will be equal to F13. So this F12 will be equal to F13 due to symmetry rule. Similarly, this F21 will be equal to F31. F21 will be equal to F31. So this is symmetry rule. So these four are important rule, and this is end of today lecture. Thank you.